It wasn't until I saw her delicate face and limbs entangled in the monstrous blades of bull kelp that stopped me in my tracks. Tears swelled up in my eyes. It wasn't the first dead body I've seen, but I recognized her. It was my cashier, Cheyenne, from the restaurant I stopped at over in Mercer County. How did she get here? What happened to her? I thought. Her skin absorbed water and bloated her body. The skin at the edges of her face peeled. Her complexion was no longer a honey brown hue, but was now a greenish-black pigment. She was missing some fingers, probably stolen by fish or crabs, or both. Her neck was clearly broken and distorted. There were bits of polypropylene rope material that was loosely attached to her neck. Loose folds flesh-floated, barely attached to her arms and legs. With shaky hands, I blew my whistle as hard as I could, emptying out the air from my lungs and belly. Someone had to hear my calls. Someone had to rescue her from her oceanic coffin. The water flashed her eyes open. I stared into dark, empty pits where eyes once were. I couldn't look away. Her sockets looked like endless tunnels without light. A wave rocked my kayak, and the cool metal from the whistle between my lips brought me to the present. I blew my whistle again. I couldn't see any orange kayaks coming my way through the rolling fog. The sun disappeared behind the dense, dark clouds. I was alone. Another swell splashed against my kayak, knocking my shades into the water. Cheyenne's lifeless body was no longer entangled to my right. Her body was visibly gone. It disappeared. Was she drugged underneath by something? I thought. A red-tinged mist fell around me. I began to paddle again through the bull kelp. My eyelashes were moist with red liquid. My heart pace quickened. I was almost out of the mass of seaweed when Cheyenne's seemingly dead body surfaced directly to the left of my kayak. I let out a loud shriek. I hadn't expected her to reappear, especially not that close to me. Her eyes were still open. A wave opened her mouth. She didn't have a tongue, and critters were moving inside of her throat. God, no! I thrashed backwards and flipped into salty water. I was fully submerged in bitter water, and my lower body was stuck in my kayak. I swallowed a salty gulp of water and tried to spit it out only to swallow more. I panicked and dropped my paddle. I scooted my thighs, rolled my hips, and did those motions a couple of times.